Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Bennett, and I'm here tonight with Joshua. He participated in our in our metabolic body reset program. And that program is a 6-week losing phase program and then a 4-week monitoring program. And during that 6 weeks, that's 42 days, Josh lost 42 pounds and 6.5 inches off of his abdomen. So that's phenomenal. So what we're going to do is talk to Josh about his experience, what he liked, how he went through the program, how he worked. So Josh, you want to just introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. I'm Josh, obviously, if you can't tell by now. I'm 23 years old, and I am someone who has always struggled, with weight management pretty much the majority of my life. And um, as of around Christmas, New Year's, this past year, it got to a point where it was just completely out of control. And I had just gained this immense weight. And I mean, I've always been a bigger guy, but it started to get like I said, out of control. And I was pretty much at the end of my rope looking for just the best possible solution. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I believe my mom started the same program. And I think that was in September or October, somewhere in the fall. And she had started to look great. And everybody had started noticing results. I could tell she felt better about herself, just the way she was, her energy, and everything was just so much different. And I thought, man, if my mom can do that, why can't I? I'm 23. I'm supposed to be in my prime, as I've said in the previous video. And it was probably the best decision I could have made for myself, health-wise. And I'm so glad I've done it because I mean, going into it, I don't think anyone expects, especially me, to get as far as I did. And it's just pulling the trigger. It's making that final commitment. I mean, there's so many different diet plans or lifestyles, however you want to word it, out there. And I know people can be deterred by price and different kind of obligations, but you can't really put a price on your health. And I mean, it's as simple as it goes. And it's not like you're buying into some meal plan that's sending you different foods or it's all stuff that you should be used to as in your everyday life, which makes it personally, I believe, easier for your everyday life because you can go out to the store, you don't have to worry about buying this or buying that. You know exactly what you're eating, the increments of what you're eating, and it becomes like second nature, honestly. I mean, right now I'm on the maintenance phase,
Right.
and I found myself honestly wanting to go back onto the cycle, which at the entire time I was on, and I'm like, man, I can't wait for maintenance, get a little bit of leeway. And now that I'm on it, I'm like, yeah, I miss it. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm just going to two things. I'll say one, please stick around to the end of the Facebook Live because we're going to give you a special offer for sticking around. And two, Josh referenced his mother. You can go to our website, metabolicbodyreset.com. His mother's interview and conversation about her experience is on that website. You can watch it at your leisure. And if you are watching this on Facebook and you have a question, you can type it in the comments or just say hi. I see Elise and Jeff and um, Jess are watching and Russell. So hi, guys. Thanks for tuning in. But there's a lot of interviews on our website, metabolicbodyreset.com, that you can reference and see other people's stories about what they went through. Um, so how's your life changed since you did this metabolic body reset program with our office?
man, it's incredible. I mean, I've noticed just putting on my clothes in the morning from the start of my day, I'll put on different clothes that haven't fit in forever. And um, I still have a ways to go. I'm nowhere near my goal, but to be where I am right now, it's huge. And I can just tell by my energy level. I can sleep better. I feel better. It might sound weird, but I feel like I even breathe better. You know, I don't have this constant, like, is, you know, terrible as it's going to sound, like this extra weight riding on me, you know, and you can just feel the difference. I can feel when I'm walking, or like I never wear white. Like, I hate wearing white because it's not the most flattering color. So, you know, I would always try to not wear it. And I have so many white shirts too. So recently I've been wearing a lot of white colors because it's getting nicer out. I don't want to be in the sun, dark colors. And, you know, my girlfriend even said recently, as I was wearing one of the shirts, she's like, "You look really good in that." And there are some things that I bought in earlier this year before I started this plan. And my my younger brother even approached me, and he's like, "Those look way better on you than when you first bought them." So, but you know, it's just a huge relief, honestly. And you know, people compliment you, and that makes it sort of worthwhile to know that you are making a difference in your body, and you there's something that you can do to fix it. So if you're not feeling confident in yourself, I highly recommend it. I mean, it's hands down, like I said, one of the best things I could have done for myself and my body. And it's not, I'm not going to say it's, you know, sunshine and rainbows. Like, there are going to be days that it's hard, but, you know, anything worth having, I believe, is worth fighting for. So.
Awesome. And you mentioned right there, you know, sometimes it's not just about the weight loss or the inches lost. I mean, how did
Right.
you felt different?
I do. I felt like my energy level has increased immensely. I used to, there are days when I'd be off work and I would want to sleep in, and I'd sleep in until like 11 o'clock and maybe 11:30. And now there are days where I'm up at 9. I'm like, what the hell happened? You know? But I've noticed a deeper sleep. I've noticed um, just breathing better. It's I know, like, it's cliche, and I got the live jitters right now, so bear with me if I'm like shaking and stuttering. So
No, you got to think of this as just, it's just a conversation. But what you're
yeah,
doing is helping people learn about our program so that they can take the step you did. Um, so when you started this and you were planning on this 6-week metabolic body reset program, how much weight did you set out to lose, to relieve?
um, for the first cycle, whenever I had first started, I believe I wanted to make the goal somewhere between 25 and 30 pounds. And then came what, like week 3 or 4, and I was starting to surpass that. I'm like, and it still kept going. Like, I would wake up and I'd weigh myself and be like, all right, it's about time, it should slow down. And it didn't. Like, it just kept coming off, and it was so almost effortless. I mean, there are points when, you know, like I said, you can get hungry, but there are free foods that you can eat. You know, if you're not feeling full, if you're feeling like, oh man, I should have ate a little bit more, or I wish I could eat this or that, you add in the free foods. They're the approved foods, non-approved foods. And anytime I'd have that, I would celery was my snack. I went to celery. So
Yeah, nice. So what Josh is saying is, so you're eating real foods. We didn't use prepackaged
right.
food. We didn't use shakes. Um, what you're doing is eating protein, vegetables, and fruit. And then there's a whole list of other vegetables that you can eat as much of as you want with your meals. So that's um, that's what you fill in and try to satisfy any hunger that you may have. So let's start right at the beginning of these 42 days. Days 1 and 2. When I first told you that I was going to ask you to eat 5,000 calories a day on days 1 and 2, what did you think?
This is my glory. I'm like, 5,000 calories. That's nothing. I can do that. I can put it away. Go to McDonald's. I can do that one trip. And it is tough. For people that don't think it's tough, it is tough. But yeah, you find yourself in that moment. I don't know if it's just because you feel like you're on the spot, you have no idea what to eat. You have no idea how to go about it. Cashews, if you're on those first 2 days where you eat the 5,000 calories per day, cashews is a big one. So that's
So
what
at the end of the first 2 days, then by 8 o'clock on day 2, were you ready to stop eating?
I think so. Yeah, I was. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I felt disgusting before I started the diet. Those first 2 days, I'm like, this is insane. Like, I didn't want to move, and I had zero will to even like get out of bed. I'm like, I don't even want to move. The second day, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna eat today, and
But you got through those first 2 days.
I did. It sounds like fun. I mean, it does. Don't get me wrong. And during the during the first cycle, there were nights when I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be thinking about like, I want Panera mac and cheese, like so bad. And I would start writing different foods down that I'm craving so that I know for my next cycle, I'm like, all right, I'm having those the first 2 days.
Nice, very nice. Yep, it is. Most people say by the end of day 2, they're just, when I say, okay, no more eating after 8 o'clock and we're going to fast until noon the next day, they're like, going into that intermittent fasting was not a big issue because you're so tired of eating at that point
Yeah,
that you're happy not to have to eat.
absolutely.
Yep. And then, we do go through the next 40 days of the same lunch and dinner, of eating protein, vegetables, and fruit. And, did you, you were cooking for yourself and making your own meals. Did you find it easy to pick from those choices that we gave you?
Oh, absolutely. And it's cool because you can experiment a little bit too. I mean, I'm not personally, I mean, time-wise, I want to go and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to experiment up a little bit. And there were only a few days where I could actually do that. But when I did, I'm like, all right, it's so easy. Like, for example, chicken, rice, cauliflower, a little bit of low-sodium soy sauce. It's as close you can get to like having actual Chinese food. And I mean, which you can go out on the diet as long as you get it approved. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, did you go out to eat when you were on the
I did. I went out a couple times, and there's this little Italian restaurant near my mom's house, and it's to die for. Like it's wonderful. I mean, and I'm Italian, so not eating carbs or pasta or whatever it is that I can normally eat there is really difficult. But especially with the smells, I mean, but you look at the menu, you adapt to what you can have and what is offered. And I would end up getting, grilled chicken, and at Express I have like steamed broccoli. And then when I go home, I have an orange, try to make it in the same time frame so that I wasn't, too far off.
Mm-hmm. And the restaurants, they'll accommodate you because I mean they'll make it. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's some waitresses I had to try to explain it to. I didn't want them to think that I was too sweet. I was like, I'm not that customer that comes in and just starts giving you orders. But
So, what did you like most about the metabolic body reset program?
man, honestly, there's so many things. But I think the biggest thing for me was the confidence boost. I'm one of those people that if I even see my reflection, I immediately I get really down on myself. I hate being in pictures. I hate having my picture taken. I previously said before, like my mom has a ton of pictures up of my brother around the house, and I feel like, I see how it is, Mom. Like I'm not the favorite son. It's cool, and I'm sure she'll hear this, and I'll get help for it. But it's mainly because I don't like to have my picture taken, and now like I'll walk by a window or something, and I can see my reflection in it, and I'm like, okay, I can deal with that. And I'm looking forward to getting back on so that I can further that and have a little bit more confidence. So
Awesome. During So you lost the 42 pounds in 42 days. And then we went into the maintenance phase. And you've been maintaining right around where you finished, which is what the plan is designed to do. It's designed to be a lifestyle, not a diet, so that when you go off of the quote unquote losing phase, you can maintain. Like
Yeah.
for myself, I'm maintaining and I'm just shy of a year. In a couple weeks, I'll be a year out. So on the maintenance phase, what have you liked about the maintenance phase?
Um,
Or I guess, let me say this. What haven't you liked? Because you want to get back on the losing phase from what you said earlier.
haven't I like? There's been a couple meals here and there. I mean, where I'll try to experiment and see if my body can process some of the things. And I've noticed immediately, I feel so bloated, and it's funny because I'm sorry, my computer's dying, so I'm trying to plug it in here.
No, go right ahead. Take a minute and do it.
No, you're fine. It's funny because during during the cycle, there's all these foods that you're thinking about and you want it and you crave it. And when you start to kind of casually throw that back in to see if your body can handle it, it's not as good as you imagined it to be. It's wild. It's like it's a whole like hypnotist thing. It changes your mindset. It changes your metabolism.
Change your taste buds.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I'll sit there and I'll eat like, okay, for example, the Panera mac and cheese. So I'll go to Panera and I'll get the mac and cheese and I'll try like a little, the small cup of it to see if I can do it. And I'm just like, what was I craving? I don't understand. And then I feel disgusting after it. And I find myself craving the foods that I was eating on the cycle. It just completely transforms the way your body thinks, the way your mind thinks, the way your taste buds work.
How's an example of, you and I are not even remotely close together. I mean, we're a good 5 hours apart. You're on the eastern part of, or western part of Pennsylvania, a few miles from the Ohio border. I'm on the opposite end, a few miles from the New Jersey border. How did that work out, working long distance?
So, going into it, there's a little hesitation. You're thinking, okay, how is someone who's hundreds of miles away from me going to be able to help me? And it's so easy, through the app that's associated with it. There are days when I'd wake up and, I'd go straight to you. And if my weight was up or something had changed, I would get advice from you and I would know, okay, all right, this is what he would say to do. And that's the plan to follow. And anytime you start to freak out, it's so easy to, converse and try to find a plan that's going to fit a little bit better to the way your body works, I guess, that adapts to you, I should say.
Mm-hmm. There are ups and downs, and nobody has a nice, declining scale with their weight. There's always little bumps, and so what we have is through our electronic record system. It's basically a secure text messaging system that allows us to communicate. When he wakes up, he puts in his weight through a journaling system. I get notified of it, and if I see it went up a little bit, and then I'll send a text. Hey, what's going on? What happened yesterday? Drink enough water, that kind of thing. Or if Josh had questions, he could text me and say, hey, wait, why did this happen? Or what's going on here? Because it's a learning process, and it's a change. It's a change in lifestyle. And we do all the measurements and everything like that remotely the same way. Did you find using the electronic record system easy?
Yeah, I mean, there are days, don't get me wrong, there are days when I would wake up and I was guilty of not putting it in right away. I had a million other things going on. But I would remember.
You'd get a message from me saying, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, like, where you at? Make sure you're putting your weight in, and I'd be like, "I'm sorry," and that's on me because I can be irresponsible that way. But yeah, you just wake up in the morning, and even if the day's like, God forbid, something should happen where you miss just putting it in or something's going on, your world gets crazy. You can always go back and pick that day and put in your weight if you remember what it is. The important part is to just make sure you're weighing yourself once a day. And I would suggest in the morning. I'm not,
Yep.
when you're not retaining water. So
Absolutely. So when you first started this program, what if any hesitation did you have?
um, the freedom, I think, the freedom and the commitment. I knew going into it that the next 6 weeks of my life, and I tend to throw things out of proportion a little bit. So whenever I started, I'm thinking, oh God, like the next 6 weeks of my life is going to be hell. I'm not going to be able to do anything. Like, there won't be anything to eat. And, it scared me. And as I said once before, being 23, one of the main things to do when you're 23 is to go out to bars with your friends. And I was really nervous about not being able to drink. And I was like, there are gonna be days where my life is just crazy and I'm gonna want to drink and I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I found myself actually not wanting to. And even if I did, I would order water, and a lot of the times they can make it look like a drink. So that helps immensely. I know it's weird, but trust me, if you're on it, you'll think, okay, just give me the satisfaction of having something that I can hold on to that looks like one.
Well, and waking up in the morning and seeing those pounds changing and going,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that's a motivating factor.
It is. It keeps you complete. And that was the thing. I would think to myself, I got to be committed here. I got to stay on track. And I think the thing that would keep me going, even on the more difficult days, is it's 6 weeks. It's 6 weeks out of your life. If you can take 6 weeks out of your life and just follow one plan, you can further yourself. You just feel better about yourself. And honestly, anyone just looking to do it, it's just 6 weeks. And I mean, depending on how much, what your goal weight is by the end, or how much weight you want to lose, you can do as many cycles of it as you want. And I mean, I personally, I want to do another one. I'm on maintenance right now. So, but it's only 6 weeks. I mean, that's as simple as I can put it.
So that hesitation of like, okay, committing and the freedom for that 6 weeks, what put it to rest before you started that you said to yourself, okay, I'm going forward?
I think the realization of where I had let myself go. Being 23 and not having really established life, I should say. You're still in the phase of figuring out your world and going out and getting food at McDonald's late at night and just hanging out with friends and doing all that fun junk. It's fun, but eventually it'll catch up to you. And I realized it the one night. I felt disgusting. I was going to bed, and unfortunately, I have my best friend. His stepfather suffered from. He was a bigger guy, and he ended up having, I believe it was an aneurysm in his sleep or something associated with his weight, and it ended up killing him. And he was only in his 30s, and it was awful. I mean, and I thought to myself, I'm not sure what it is, but I got to make sure that I'm healthy. I'm 23. I don't want to end up dead in a few years myself. I got to do everything that I can to make sure that I am healthy and that I am going to be around for a long time. And yeah, these times are fun, but it's about preserving your own life.
That's right. That's right on point. So had you tried other weight loss programs prior to the Metabolic Body Reset?
Oh my God. So many different programs. I was sick and tired of them. I'm pretty sure that they had probably heard about me from different diet programs. They're like, oh God, he wants to start with us now. I think probably the most successful one I ever had was Atkins, and it was okay. I mean, I was eating foods that I liked. Like I got to eat burgers and wings and bacon and stuff like that. So I was in my heaven. I'm like, well, that's your selling point right there. You get me on the diet immediately. And you lose weight, but eventually it becomes very difficult to manage the cravings and to I never really made it past the induction phase because it was difficult to add new foods back in without
Mhm.
gaining a copious amount of weight back for no reason whatsoever. And I felt like I was sweating butter, honestly, on the diet itself. Like, there's so much grease involved, and there's good fats and bad fats, and I understand that. I mean, as far as the whole medical terms go, I'm not the smartest guy with how weight management works. That's not my field. Um, but I knew that if I felt like that, and I felt like I was constantly like sweating like beef juice, that maybe this isn't the healthiest thing to do. And so after a while, it became too much. I tried so many different weight loss programs. I did a low fat, low calorie. I mean, it was crazy.
And you lost some weight on those programs, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I did. But it was a real struggle to keep it going, and it was an even bigger struggle to stay motivated on it. Whereas this, you just, it's so hard to explain without doing it yourself, but you feel so much better. I mean, I feel healthier. I feel like I can breathe. I feel even more active. And granted, it's not like I'm going to the gym every day or running a mile in the morning or whatever it could be, but I feel more mobile. And
Nice.
yeah,
And that's one of the things. During the 6 weeks, I told you no exercise.
yeah,
It's one of the parts of the program is no added exercise. Don't put any additional stressors on the body when you're trying to lose that weight. Um, so so what was your experience like working with our office? Granted, you were, fine, never been in the office. But what was your experience like?
um, I might be a little bit confused by your question.
So what was it like working with the office throughout the entire program and still while you're on maintenance? You have about another week to go on maintenance.
Yeah, right. Um, it's very helpful to be there and to have that extra crutch in case you need it. I get it. There are people that are um, self starters and more motivated, um, and depending on what what you're talking about, I get it can be easier for some people. For me, I know that I'm a big overthinker. So, like I said, there are days where I'd wake up, I'd see the numbers on the scale, and I'd freak out. But having that extra support, and there's even a Facebook support group to keep you motivated going, and it's like a big family. Everybody's proud of each other and wants each other to do well. Um, but I haven't had one problem in basically this entire experience.
Awesome.
Everyone's been really accommodating, and
So one of the things Josh brought up is our Facebook group. So we have a secret Facebook group for the Metabolic Body Reset program. And what that is I have to add you to the group. You can't search it up. You can't find out who's in the group. But that group is only people who have done the program and are doing the program. So everybody's been in the same position. Everybody knows where you're at. We play a little game. Every 5 pounds you lose, you go in there and you post a picture of a bell ringing. Like today, there was 30-pound bell ringing, which was awesome. And that all of a sudden you have all this motivation because you're getting congratulations from people you've never met and you don't know. You're not friends with on Facebook, but they understand what you are doing. And there's an exchange of recipes in there. You can look stuff up. If you're traveling, you try to tag things. If you're out traveling, I'll take a picture of my meal and say, this is compliant. Here's where it was, whatever restaurant, wherever it is. And also, there's a recipe book in there as well. So, Josh, one more very big question. If you were to recommend the Metabolic Body Reset program to your best friend, what would you say?
I think to really just to anyone looking to um, really make a life-changing decision and do basically what's best for your body and what's best for your health. Um, it's such an easy program to abide by. It's like I said, it's accommodating. You have people supporting you 24/7 basically, um, and you feel better every day. I mean, it's a perpetual feeling. You wake up and you're like, I can breathe, I can sleep, I can move, I fit in my clothes, and it's, like I said, hands down the best decision I think anyone can make for themselves as far as, you know, changing your eating habits and learning a better lifestyle for what makes you tick, I guess, for what having a hard time articulating right now, but you know.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. I mean, it's about a lifestyle. It's about lifestyle changes to be able to carry forward so you can maintain where you're at the end of the 6 weeks. So, you know, is there anything else you'd like to add? Because I know I've asked you questions over and over, and is there anything else you'd like to add that I didn't cover?
I'm not sure. I think anyone, you know, anyone out there who's watching this and thinking, okay, it's just another one of those videos or another one of those ads or whatever you might think this is, it's real. It's the real deal. I mean, people on my page, if you're watching this and you know me and you know my story, you know my struggles, this is the real deal, and it's simple, and it's life-changing, essentially.
Awesome. Josh, I appreciate your time. I know like you said, you're not a camera guy.
This is difficult for me.
Pulling you out. This is your second Facebook with me. That's awesome. Any parting words that you would like to comment on? Because I talk a lot.
I mean, like I said, anyone who's looking to do something great for themselves, and I mean, even if you're not looking to lose weight and just feel better about yourself, or feel, you know, a confidence boost or fit in your clothes, whatever it might be, you know, I implore you to message me, and hopefully we can help you out and get you 10% off.
Absolutely. You can direct message me on this thread, and I should throw this in here. That 10% off is good for people doing their first round, new people to the Metabolic Body Reset program. So if you haven't done it before, that 10% off with JOSH 42, Josh 42 applies. Please do it. Yeah, there you go. Other than my drawing.
I don't know if I do this, if that's 42 or 24. So,
so, you know, do it before Tuesday. There's no, you're not committing to anything other than getting on a phone call with me and discussing it. So
yeah.
This opportunity, jump in. We work remotely with people all over the place. You know, the joys of the internet allow that to be possible. So we can extend this program out to people who aren't located near our offices in Philadelphia or Allentown. So, Josh, I really appreciate your time. I can't wait to get you started on another round. Have a wonderful night. Thank you. Any parting words? Say hi to anybody? Not even your girlfriend?
My girlfriend's right here. My mom, hi, Mom. My dad. My stepmom. I don't
know. All right. That's awesome. So, again, I'll say it one more time. Josh42, put it in the comments when you schedule that free call with me. Schedule that call. At least get it on the books before the end of the day on Tuesday, April 16th, and you'll get 10% off your first round of a Metabolic Body Reset program, silver, gold, or platinum, 10% off for people who are doing it for the first time. Just get it in the books. There's no obligation to move forward from that call. It's just a conversation between the two of us. So
and that phone call is so easy. You know, like you said, I mean, I remember trying to call you, and the whole time I'm on the other end freaking out. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to talk to him about. I mean, and I get it. You know, it can be nerve-wracking, but it's so easy. You are very accommodating. You know what you're doing, and it's like you said, there's no commitment. It's just a phone call.